Okay, good afternoon all. Welcome again for the webinar of our new 4K PTZ camera, SRG X40UH. So let's start our webinar now, and thank you for spending your time in joining this webinar. So let me introduce myself. My name is Claire. I'm the Network Camera Solutions Product Manager, and I'm very happy to have Garry here. He's our Products and Solutions Manager. So I will briefly go through the introduction of our SRG X40UH and also our PTZ camera lineup first, and then we will have a Q&A sections at the end. So you can type in your questions. I think there's a question box that you can type in your questions, and then after my presentation, we will look into the questions, and Garry and I will answer your questions. Okay, so let me go through the overall product strategies first. In Sony, we have so many products, and we are migrating from the box moving product and solution suppliers role to a complete ecosystem providers. Like we integrate all the solutions and services together. So in terms of product, as you can see, we have so many kind of product like the Bravia business projector, and of course PTZ remote camera, beamforming microphone, and also home cinema projectors as well. And we have different models and specifications for customers to select in different situations. And we also combined with solutions like kiosk, and also we have like prime support service for every kind of product as well. And our ultimate goal is to achieve a zero environmental footprint at the road to zero. Before I go into the PTZ camera lineup and also SRG X40UH introduction, so let me give you an introduction of the market trend in the recent year of the pan-tilt camera market. This market research is coming from a market research company called Future Source. So in this year, actually, the pan-tilt camera market has been growing up so fast. Before it's because of the pandemic, like everyone goes to the hybrid working mode and hybrid learning mode. But nowadays, it's still keep growing gradually. So for example, for this year, the whole market size is around 134.5 million US dollars. And for the next year, the whole market will grow up to 9% in terms of value. And also for the next 4 years, it will grow up to 16%. So as we can see, for the pan-tilt camera market, we have a really huge potential to grow. And the demand is increasing so fast. In terms of price segment, for example, the SRG X40UH, which is our new camera, we force into the 2K to 3.5K US dollar segment. For this segment, is actually the quantity driver in the market. And of course, for more higher value pan-tilt camera, it is the value driver. So in terms of SRG X40UH price segment, in the next 4 years, the demand will actually grow up to 20%. So we can see a really huge market in this segment. So that's why we also introduced these new products in this segment. So many customers ask, like, why do we need PTZ cameras in, for example, in the education sector, corporate sector, or even healthcare sector or government sector? So why not just have a web camera? For having a PTZ camera, the benefits is that you can have a professional quality video image with a really wide shooting possibility because it can pan, tilt, and zoom. And it can be remotely controlled, so you need less human effort to operate the camera shootings. And also with very easy integration, it can be wall mounted or ceiling mounted, and also it supports PoE as well. So it can capture very high quality video, like every angle, even in a large auditorium or like smaller classrooms, small conference room, you can install it in the wall mounted or ceiling mounted, and it also is really easy to integrate with the AV control system as well. So even in the first space limited environment with a pan-tilt camera, you can capture in all angles, and you can increase the engagement with your audience in real time. For example, with your students or with your customer if you're in corporate sector, and or if with your patients if you're in the healthcare sector. So here's our complete PTZ lineup. On the right-hand side, we have our broadcast cameras, very professional broadcast camera for the media solutions and live broadcasting industry. And for education, corporate, government, and healthcare sector, we have a full range of SRG cameras. For example, our existing SRG X400, SRG X120, they are all supporting 4K with 4K license. And we are going to introduce the SRG X40UH today, which is a successor of our existing SRG 300H. And we also have a box and POV camera like the XP25 and XP1. And all the PTZ camera can be controlled by our remote controller. So let's go into our new camera, SRG X40UH. It is our first 4K SRG camera with UVC and HDMI output for professional and remote communications. So the ERP price will be around 3K euro. This is the successor of our existing SRG 300H. So as you can see, we have 4 pillars in terms of like key special features. It comes with a larger XMOR CMOS sensor for a brighter image capture. It also supports up to 40 times in Full HD with clear image zoom and up to 30 times in 4K. It supports optical zoom up to 20 times. So the zoom capability is really powerful. And also support 4K 30p output is really high resolution. In terms of remote, it can be controlled by remote controller through like Whisker and Whisker over IP and UVC, and it also comes with an infrared remote controller in box. In terms of video, it supports 4K 30p if you use the HDMI, and support Full HD 60p if you use the UVC. It can be used like a USB camera as well. So for installation, it supports PoE+. So it will be very easy to install and power up with one single cable. It also can be wall mounted and ceiling mounted. So as you can see the overview of the upgrade features compared to the existing SRG 300H, because it comes with a larger XMOR sensors. So the benefit is that you can have a brighter color image with less noise. The powerful zoom is upgraded to 40 times in Full HD with clear image zoom. And it comes with a 4K lens, so you don't really need to purchase a 4K license. You already can enjoy a 4K through HDMI. And in terms of the horizontal angle, is really wide. It supports up to 70 degrees, and the maximum pan speed can be up to 300 degrees per second. So it can be really fast to move from one shot to another. As I said, it supports USB Type-C output and HDMI output, and it also supports PoE+, and the day and night ICR mode as well. So in terms of applications, the most common application is in the education segment and corporate segment. For education, like the large auditorium room or even a small classroom, it can facilitate the professors or teachers in hybrid learning. So like this one, it can be remotely record the whole lecture. And for the corporate segment, it supports the remote conference, remote seminar, and also remote meeting as well with a very wide angle and zoom capability. And another segment is the medical segment, which is growing up really fast. That this camera can be used on the medical cards, like a USB camera, so that the doctor can remotely consult the patient, even in the daytime, or even can be remotely monitor the patient at nighttime. So here's the key features of this camera. For example, it can provide a very outstanding detailed and high quality image because it's come with a larger XMOR sensor. It comes with a 4K lens built in the camera, and it also supports the day and night mode as well. It has the ICR, the IR remote filter. And for the installation, it's very easy to install because it can support wall mounted and ceiling mounted, and with a zoom capability of up to 40 times. Even if you have a large auditorium, the zoom capability is really powerful. And you can preset on the position as well, and the pan speed is really fast to move from one shot to another. And it also integrates with various systems with a simple connection, like a UVC and HDMI output, and also support PoE+. So in terms of clear image zoom, it actually can double the zoom capability of the optical zoom, because for example, if you only use the optical zoom, it only support up to 20 times zoom capability. But with clear image zoom, if you're in Full HD, support to 40 times, and 4K it can also support to 30 times without any image distortion. For the Exmo R sensor, because of its back illuminated design, so it can absorb more light, so it can provide high quality color image with less noise. In terms of viewing angle, it's very important if you're in a large auditorium hall, because it can capture up to 70-degree wide angle, and with its horizontal pan movement, it can capture a really wide angle. So in terms of resolution, it has been upgraded from my existing SRG 300H from Full HD to 4K 30p with HDMI output. Like I previously mentioned, the pan tilt zoom camera can pan horizontally up to positive or minus 170 degrees. So total, it will be 340 degrees. And with its wide angle of 70 degrees, so it can capture a really, really wide angle. So the pan tilt movement is really quiet, smooth, and rapid. As I previously mentioned, is the daylight and the day and night mode. It's commonly used in the healthcare sector because it can capture image even in the low light environment, in the shadow, or even you switch off the light, and the doctors can still remotely monitor the patient. And very good news is that SRG X40UH can support barcode click share conference. So it's a one-click conference solution that you enable users to connect with the remote participants, like your customers, at the touch of a button. So for SRG X40UH, it comes with two color, black color, white color. And here's the rear panel interface. As you can see, it supports HDMI and the UVC output as well. In terms of system configurations, for example, like HDMI, you can connect to your lecture capture system. For the USB, you can connect to the medical card in the healthcare segment, and also the web conferencing applications in the corporate sector. And it also comes with an IR remote control inbox, and it also supports our Sony's remote control, the IP500 and IP10, and also support external system controller. So it's very easy to integrate with different systems. So here's all the inbox item. Besides the IR remote control, we also comes with the ceiling bracket, so it can be ceiling mounted. And you can download all the operation menu in our website. Okay, I think that's all of my brief introduction of SRG X40UH. So I think some of you have already typed in the questions, right?
Yeah, well, I know we had some questions preceding the webinar, so I can look at a selection of those, Claire. Yeah. I think what's important for this camera is the simplicity of use, certainly with the UVC connection using USB Type-C cable. And actually it's quite handy because that prompts to the first question, which I saw pop up, and that's about how the camera is powered. We see it's powered over PoE+, but the question was asking if the camera can also be powered over the USB cable connection. Quite simply, I can give a straight answer to that. The camera requires 25 watts of power. So the USB cable is simply for the video transfer to a UC style application. such as Claire showed. We've got the camera certified already with Barco for the ClickShare conference solution. With regards to, which I know is probably going to be another question that someone will ask about Teams and Zoom certification. We do not have Zoom or Teams certification for this new camera model at this time. It's something we are working with Japan HQ to see about the process for certification. But saying that, because we have a simple USB Type-C cable connection to the computer, it will be just seen as any USB camera connected to the computer. So absolutely for sure, the camera can be used with Zoom or Teams or WebEx or whatever UC application is that you have. This camera will be seen by the PC platform and will be able to be selected as your webcam for your connection source. So that's quite important to note. With regards to PoE Plus as well is the requirement. So we do require PoE Plus for the 25 watts negotiation. One question that I've seen pop up is about how the PoE Plus can work with some switches. So just reading down through, we've experienced some problems with some PoE Plus cameras connecting to Cisco network switches. Okay, so simple answer to that one is something we have experienced, and I think many other vendors have also experienced this with Cisco switches. Cisco switches typically use a proprietary protocol to negotiate with peripheral devices for power submission to that peripheral device. So CDP is the Cisco discovery protocol that typically switches are looking at. It's very simple, some check on the switch itself to ensure the Cisco switch port is set to LLDP, which is link layer discovery protocol, and that way it means any device will negotiate properly for the power consumption. So the CDP proprietary algorithm is looking for Cisco type peripheral devices, and of course we are not a Cisco camera, we are a Sony camera. So setting this switch to LLDP mode for discovery should be all that's required to rectify any problems that you may have there. There's a question popped up about let's have a look, going down through the supply of the camera. We've shown this, people have seen this camera before at some trade show, but we've just holding this webinar now. Can we confirm about delivery of this new model camera? Maybe Claire, you can take that one.
Yeah, sure. We will start shipping out our stock from this week, so it will be available in the coming weeks in the market. Okay, so availability is happening as we speak. Is that correct, Claire? Yes. Yeah, it's available. So seen another one pop in about maybe reference to what I was talking about with Cisco. Is the camera co-labeled, i.e. OEM, and available via Cisco? My understanding at this time is no, it is only available as an SRG model camera. Cisco, historically in the past, we have an agreement between Sony and Cisco where some camera models are OEM'd to Cisco for their WebEx platform, for example, but this camera model is not an OEM model available through Cisco. Just to answer that question. One popping up. Okay, on the chart, camera chart you showed BRC, the broadcast cameras. What's the main difference between SRG and the BRC camera range? I think Claire, you pretty much answered that actually when you were talking about the BRC camera, because it is more of a higher end level model camera. It has more functionality built into the BRC camera. For example, the X1000 camera has a much larger sensor, a 1-inch sensor on the camera model. Gen lock. Yeah, so exactly. So there are other functionalities on the BRC range which adhere that camera more to broadcast style applications. So there's additional functionality for color matching. So master black, paint,
PT 700 control. There's also I'm just trying to think of the VR applications. So the 3D 3D functionality with that camera for the automation.
Yes, it's all designed for like live broadcasting or like content creation usage. So that's the broadcast camera. BRC stands for like broadcast camera.
Yeah. It's just looking down through. So, okay, we see the camera, this new model camera has HDMI and the USB cable connection. Can these be used simultaneously? So, simple answer for that is, in reality, yes, you can use simultaneous HDMI and USB connection to transfer video from the camera to your device or devices. The only prerequisite that I would have to say with regards to that is it comes down to your resolution requirement that you're asking from the camera. On the HDMI, we are supporting the 4K 30p signal transfer. On the USB, it's capped at a resolution of 1080-60. So providing your resolution that you have the camera set to output is 1080-60, then absolutely no problem to use simultaneous USB and HDMI cable. And with reference to that point, as default from factory, the camera is set to, there's a rotary switch on the back panel of the camera where you can set the resolution, and that is set at 1080-60 as default. So should you want to use 4K on HDMI, you would need to change the rotary switch settings, the resolution settings of the camera, and then use the HDMI cable for the higher resolution.
Yes.
So that's pretty much all of the questions that I've seen pop up at the moment.
Yes.
So if anybody has any additional questions, please by all means put those in the question panel that you've got in the sidebar of the WebEx, or you can add chat text as well should you want to. No, I think that's about it on the questions. Yeah. I think we allocated, just as a safety net, we allocated 1 hour for this webinar. The expectation was we were only going to consume half of that time, so about 30 minutes. So we're a little bit short of that, but I guess that's down to the questions. We were maybe expecting some more questions coming in from the participants, from the audience. But I think just as a flavour, as a general overview for the new camera model that Claire has presented, it gives you an idea as to some of the functionality, some of the applications, the positioning of this camera in relation to being the successor of the 300H model camera with the additional feature set that Claire showed, being 4K capable out the box. It's default set to 1080, but you just change the resolution setting for that, and having the simple connections with the UVC and the USB-C style connection. So I think that's pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I think the key point is that you can enjoy 4K resolutions with very flexible pan to zoom functionality mechanism to engage with your audience in real time. So I think that's the key benefits of having this camera.
Okay, I haven't seen any more questions pop up, Claire, so I guess we're pretty much done.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for all your time, and soon we will proceed our technology to give you more innovative product in the future. So thank you very much again for your time. Hope you can enjoy our webinar today.